The cemetery in Vienna is absolutely enormous. I think it's the second biggest cemetery in Europe. And there's a little trail you can take through it. You can get one of these sort of tape recordings or whatever they are on. It won't be tapes, that'll be on chip. You get these recordings which you can listen to, so you move from one place to another, and they're all numbered. And you can see this little trail on the map. That gives you a bit more information. But if you look into the musicians' corner, as it were, it pays to get there early because it does become quite busy later on. But the whole place was fascinating. This is a map of the central cemetery in Vienna. It's absolutely enormous. The 71 tram comes up here. This is the main entrance point, and you can pick up one of these maps there. It has information on the back, but it's all in Austrian, or whatever Austrians speak. And you can see how it's all marked out. And the musicians are all in this area here, 32A. And you can see here there's a little blue points. And I think these are for where you use the sort of audio guide. You see people standing in these places listening intently. And it takes you a long time to go around. It's a long way. So you're looking at hours as opposed to an hour to get right round it all. But it is a wonderful place to go. But it's a bit off the beaten track. But easy to get to. The 71 tram takes you straight there from the centre of Vienna. So I've come to the main cemetery in Vienna to see these various graves of composers. It's a case of finding out if we can get a little map to show where they all are. It's a beautiful day. It's about 8:30 in the morning. Wonderful. There is a map of this enormous place, and you can get an audio guide. The map is free. I don't know, I suspect you have to pay for the audio guide. And the whole place is really well marked out by group. I'm standing beside a group 14B. Which you can see there. This is Beethoven's grave. Well, decorated with flowers. Lots of people, lots of fans come here. A sort of butterfly there, or a bee at the insect at the top. I don't know what it is. A great aircraft flying over in direct line with the runway here. So this is Schubert. Bell of the necropolis clanging away in the background, with it being Sunday probably. This is Franz Schubert. A fair number of Strausses here as well somewhere. I shall seek out. This is Johann Strauss, and I assume it's his wife, Adele. I assume that's the man himself up there. And next to Strauss is Brahms. And in this very early morning sunshine is this enormous thing. I mean, these things must have cost a fortune, and yet these people were obviously well known in their time. Now completely forgotten within 2 generations. He was obviously a well-known engineer, Dr. Karl Ritter V. Jaeger. Just look at the decoration underneath there. This is Nicholas Dumba. Again, I don't know who he was. I suspect he's a dancer, or of course the symbolic snake there, swallowing its tail, a sort of circle of life really. This is the Meisel family, whoever they were, and then you can see the extent of the graves. He goes way, way up there. If I turn round, he goes way, way down there. And over there's the Thonet family mausoleum. In the middle of the cemetery, or is this vast? There's obviously going to be some kind of service here. People arriving in taxis and cars. This is the local church, if you like, and there's obviously a ceremony taking place there now. It starts at 9 o'clock. The bells having just stopped. You can see the cross on the top. And on either side of the church you've got these very nice curved colonnades. This white, I don't know if it's marble or not, I suspect not. And repeated on either side. That is some building for a local church. About 70% of Austrians are in fact Roman Catholic, and quite staunch Roman Catholics as well, practicing. In front of the church there is this circle of graves or what, but this is Karl Renner in the middle, 1870 to 1930, but I recognise over there Dr. Kurt Waldheim, This is inside the church. It's very light. For it has this most magnificent ceiling. Isn't that just something else? Stunning. Lovely modern stained glass. I mean, some of the graves are quite unique. This has got a little bit at the front here with a couple of doors on, into which you can put a candle. Dr. Helmut Zilk, and that's rather nice polished stone headstone which has no engraving on it whatsoever. And in the more modern part of the cemetery there's some absolutely bizarre headstones. This is Franz West, or Franz West, who died in 2012. He was obviously some kind of artist, I suspect. And this is this headstone made of sort of thin steel or thin metal of some description, with various welded patterns on it. Udo Jürgens, obviously a pianist, and this is a marble effigy of a piano covered with a sheet and a bronze rose lying on the top of it. It's you can see the creases on the corners where this white cloth, well, it looks like a white cloth but it is in fact marble. It's beautifully done. It looks as if you could just lift it off and fold it up and there would be a piano underneath. I mean, who thinks of these things? And this is the famous Hedy Lamarr, who was an actress who was in the silent movies to begin with. Died in America in 2000, and this is her rather unique grave marker. You hardly call it headstone. With the sun shining on it in a very peaceful cemetery, and birds singing. Gunther Damage, who died in 2016. This is his, well, it's meant to be a circle of fire. Unlike the British cemeteries of similar ilk, it's very well maintained. The whole place isn't overrun with stones falling here, there and everywhere, which in some ways is It's quite nice, but in other ways just shows abject neglect. This is the Philip family vault. Huge thing. They're obviously very important people in politics. This guy was a state burgomaster. Whatever a burgomaster was, but it was obviously pretty important. Looking at these, looking at this monumental structure in front of me, tassels and swags and sad looking little cupids. What about that with its black marble sparkling columns with a sort of mica schist in the bright sunshine here, like small stars. Somebody obviously thought they were worth it. Well, pointed, this one is to a young Russian girl. Was only 10. It's obviously in the Cyrillic language and the Orthodox Church cross, that double cross. How sad for them. Obviously somebody very much loved. Holding a butterfly. Tragic. Poignant sort of places these are. I mean, you expect to see old people in these places, but you don't expect to see somebody so very young. All the family vaults have these wonderful sort of caps on, with these ornate rings for lifting them off. They've obviously got some gizmo. They just haul these things off and drop you in and then drop these back on. But even the handles must have cost a fortune. There's a black squirrel just gone waltzing through here. There it is, on the side of the tree. It's like a red squirrel, only black. Sort of same tufty ears. If I move towards it, just shoot up there. And it's gone. Well, the tours have arrived. This is Mozart. He's not actually, he's buried in this cemetery, but they don't really know where he is. So this stone has obviously been, or this obelisk has been put here in the middle of the, surrounded by other composers. The cemetery has areas for different religions. This is the area for Buddhists. And it has this miniature stupa pointing to heaven. Earth at the bottom, sea in the middle, I think, and the sky at the top. I think is how it works. And the inevitable, prayer flags with the prayer on. See there, easily on this white one. It seems to be relatively new, in that there are a large number of spaces. Obviously a child with this funny little rabbit, a little straw rabbit, Peter Feltain. Not exactly a Buddhist name. Just listen to that silence. Once you move away from the musician's corner, there are very, very few people about. It's very quiet. Every now and then a plane comes across as you're right under the path to the airport. You one coming now, coming into land. A great line of family vaults with these iron handles for lifting the tops off. Interesting how big they are underneath. How far down they go. How many can you get in? This area is for Mormons. Sort of family group. It's a small square area. It's obviously a very recent addition to the cemetery. The earliest grave here is 2008. There's an inscription all the way around the base of this group. I don't know what it says. But again, it's very, very peaceful. Not a soul in sight. Obviously in bronze. And this, towards one side, is obviously a war memorial. And it's lovely early morning sunshine, lots of light and shade, peaceful. The occasional warbler singing, not at the moment. Some of the bronzes are stunning. Somewhere up there is a woodpecker. What's this? A green woodpecker hiding behind that branch. A wonderful display of pansies on here. I think what you do is you pay a company who look after the graves. I would just pass some up there. They were cutting the grass and fertilising it and watering it and planting lots of little pansies around the place. I think that's what these labels are. That's the name of the company, and on the other side there's a telephone number. And there are several different companies obviously doing this. So you can see this was obviously very popular, conteneur. They obviously cut the grass.